The rain hammered against the window like fists demanding entry. But it was the silence inside that shattered me first. I stumbled into our apartment, soaked from the ER shift that had dragged on into oblivion, calling Jordan's name only to hear it echo back like a ghost's whisper. There, on the kitchen floor amid the shards of a broken coffee mug, was the blood dark, accusing, a trail leading to the empty chair where he always waited with that crooked smile. I dropped to my knees, the cold tile biting through my jeans, my fingers tracing the sticky crimson as if it could summon him back. The note fluttered from under the table, its edges curling like dying leaves. I'm sorry, Alex. I can't keep pretending. My heart seized, replaying the doctor's words from earlier that day, the diagnosis we'd both ignored for months, the one that whispered of endings we weren't ready to face. Jordan was gone, vanished into the storm-swept Seattle night. And in that moment, I realized our love had been a fragile bridge over an abyss we'd both known was there. That night marked the unraveling, but our story began years earlier, in the fluorescent haze of a community college lecture hall in Tacoma, Washington, where the Pacific Northwest's perpetual gray skies mirrored the uncertainty churning inside me. I was 22 then, Alexander Hayes, a kid from a sleepy suburb outside Portland, Oregon, raised by a single mom who worked double shifts at a diner to keep the lights on. I'd always known I was different, not in the flashy, parade-ready way, but in the quiet ache of watching my high school buddies chase girls while I stole glances at the quarterback's easy grin during gym class. College was supposed to be my escape, a place to bury those feelings under stacks of biology textbooks and late-night study sessions. But Jordan Ellis changed everything with a single, unassuming question. "Excuse me," he'd said, sliding into the seat next to me during a break, his voice carrying the soft lilt of someone who'd grown up in the diverse sprawl of South Seattle. He was 21, with skin like polished mahogany and eyes that held the depth of Old Soul Records' warm brown, flecked with gold when the light hit just right. His hair was buzzed close, accentuating the sharp line of his jaw, and he wore a faded mariner's hoodie that smelled faintly of rain and fresh laundry. "You got the notes from last week." Professor Ramirez moves like he's allergic to the chalkboard. I handed over my notebook, my pulse tripping over itself at the brush of his fingers against mine. It was innocent, or so I told myself, two guys navigating the grind of gen ed classes. But as he leaned in to copy the diagrams, his shoulder pressing lightly against mine, something stirred, a spark I'd long suppressed. We talked then, about everything and nothing. His dream of becoming a graphic designer, sketching album covers for indie bands, my obsession with marine biology, fueled by childhood trips to the Oregon coast, where I'd imagined diving into worlds untouched by judgment. He was out, unapologetically, so had been since high school, when he'd come out to his pastor father and schoolteacher mom in a tear-streaked family meeting that ended with hugs instead of headlines. Me, I was a fortress of denial, bricks mortared with fear of what my conservative aunts back home might whisper if they knew. By the end of that semester, study sessions turned into coffee runs at the campus cafe, where the steam from our lattes fogged the windows against the drizzle. Jordan had a way of drawing me out, his laughter a low rumble that made the world feel less heavy. "You're holding back, Alex," he'd say, nudging my foot under the table with his sneaker, not flirtatiously at first, but with an intent that made my stomach flip. "Life's too short for half measures. Trust me, I've learned that the hard way." I didn't know what he meant then, not fully, but one evening, as we walked back to his off-campus apartment through the leaf-strewn paths of the college quad, the air crisp with the promise of fall, he stopped under a canopy of maples and turned to me. The street lamps cast golden pools on the pavement, and his breath came out in visible puffs. "I like you, Alex, more than friends, and I think you like me too." His words hung there, vulnerable and brave, stripping away the pretense I'd clung to like a lifeline. My throat tightened, the confession I'd rehearsed in mirrors 1,000 times dissolving on my tongue. Instead, I stepped closer, our faces inches apart, and kissed him tentative at first, then with the hunger of years denied. His lips were soft, tasting of peppermint gum and possibility. And in that moment, under the indifferent stars, I felt seen, truly seen. We were just two young men in America, navigating the messy dawn of our truths. But in each other's arms, the world narrowed to something sacred. Those early months were a whirlwind of stolen moments and shared secrets. We'd drive up to Mount Rainier on weekends, the SUV's radio blasting indie folk tunes as we wound through fog-shrouded forests. Jordan would sketch while I read field guides aloud, our hands intertwined over the gear shift. He taught me to embrace the small rebellions, holding hands in quiet parks, whispering affections during movie nights curled on his threadbare couch. "This is us, Alex," he'd murmur, tracing patterns on my palm. No apologies needed. But beneath the joy lurked shadows I couldn't ignore. My family visits grew strained. My mom's knowing glances sharpened into questions I dodged with excuses about workload. And Jordan carried his own burdens. Late one night, after a particularly raucous pride event in Capitol Hill where rainbow flags snapped like defiant sails, he confessed over cheap takeout Thai, his diagnosis. Diagnosed at 18 with bipolar disorder. The kind that swung from euphoric highs to valleys so deep they threatened to swallow him whole. "It's why I left my ex," he said, his voice steady but eyes distant. He couldn't handle the crashes. Said it was too much drama. "But you. I see strength in you, Alex. The kind that sticks." I held him then, promising silently that I'd be the one who stayed. We built routines around it, therapy appointments penciled into shared calendars, mood tracking apps buzzing gentle reminders. Life felt conquerable, our love a beacon against the gathering storms. We graduated that spring, me with a bachelor's in environmental science, him with an associate's in design, and moved to Seattle proper, pooling our barista and freelance gigs into a cozy one-bedroom in Capitol Hill. The city embraced us, its eclectic pulse. The hum of coffee shops where queer couples blended seamlessly into the crowd. The ferry rides across Puget Sound where we'd watch seals bob in the wake, dreaming of futures unbound. Yet, as summer bled into autumn, the first cracks appeared. Jordan's sketches piled up unfinished, his laughter edging toward brittleness. "It's nothing," he'd insist, waving off my concerns with that trademark grin. But I saw the late nights he spent pacing the living room, the way his hands trembled when he thought I wasn't looking. Work stress, he'd say, clients ghosting on payments, the gig economy's relentless churn. I believed him because I wanted to, because loving him meant trusting his light would always return. One crisp October evening, as we strolled through Pike Place Market, the air thick with the scent of fresh salmon and blooming lavender, he pulled me into a shadowed alley behind the fishmongers. "Marry me, Alex." The words tumbled out, wrapped in a velvet box containing a simple silver band etched with waves, our nod to the coasts that had shaped us. Tears pricked my eyes. This was permanence, a vow against the uncertainties. "Yes," I whispered, slipping the ring onto his finger, our foreheads touching as the market's bustle faded to a hum. In the months that followed, planning became our anchor. We envisioned a small ceremony on the beach at Golden Gardens, invites to our tight-knit circle of friends from college, diverse faces who'd cheered us through coming out stories of their own. My mom met him over a tentative Zoom call, her initial stiffness melting into warmth when he shared his latest design for a local LGBTQ youth center. "He's good for you, honey," she said later, her voice thick with unshed tears. Hold on tight. But holding on grew harder as winter gripped the city in icy fingers. Jordan's episodes intensified, the mania manifesting in feverish all-nighters followed by crashes that left him bedbound, staring at the ceiling like it held answers. I'd come home from my new job at the aquarium feeding otters and leading tours on kelp forest ecosystems to find him curled under blankets. The room dimmed against the light. "I'm sorry," he'd murmur, pulling me close. "I hate this part of me." "You're not this," I'd counter, stroking his hair until sleep claimed him. "You're Jordan, the guy who makes me believe in second chances." Therapy helped. Meds adjusted under his doctor's watchful eye. But the weight pressed heavier. Friends noticed, their check-ins laced with concern. "How's he doing? You okay holding it down?" I nodded through the fatigue. My own dreams of grad school deferred to keep us afloat. Spring brought tentative blooms, cherry blossoms unfurling along Lake Union, mirroring the hope we clung to. We hosted an engagement party in our apartment. String lights twinkling over platters of vegan sliders and craft IPAs. Laughter filled the space. Toasts raised to resilience and love's quiet revolutions. Jordan shone that night. His stories captivating. His hand steady in mine. "To us," he said, clinking glasses. And for a heartbeat, the shadows retreated. But they never truly left. By early summer, the diagnosis evolved, doctors layering on terms like treatment-resistant, prescribing trials that left him nauseous and withdrawn. Our wedding date loomed. July 15th. A date circled in red on the fridge calendar. Invites went out. RSVPs trickling in with heartfelt notes. I threw myself into details, boutonnieres of seagrass and wildflowers. Vows scribbled in journals late at night. Jordan participated in bursts. His designs for the programs intricate and tender. But doubt crept into his eyes like fog over the sound. "You're sure about this?" he'd ask one evening, as we lay tangled in sheets. The ceiling fan whirring overhead. Rain pattered against the fire escape. A lullaby turned ominous. Me, with all my chaos. I propped up on an elbow, cupping his face. "Especially you. Because your chaos makes my world brighter. We're in this, Jordan. All the way." He smiled then, faint but real, and pulled me down for a kiss that tasted of salt and certainty. But in the quiet aftermath, as his breathing evened into sleep, I lay awake, staring at the shadows dancing on the walls. The blood I didn't yet know was coming felt like a premonition, a stain on the horizon. The weeks blurred into a frenzy of fittings and rehearsals. My best man, Tillera, burly ex-Marine from my Portland days who'd come out after a deployment in Afghanistan, flew in early. His bear hugs a reminder of chosen family. "You two are endgame, man," he said over beers at a waterfront pub, the Olympics rising purple in the distance. Jordan's sister, Lena, arrived from Atlanta, her no-nonsense energy a bomb. She'd driven him to his first pride at 16. Fierce protector in a world that too often turned away. Rehearsal dinner at a hole-in-the-wall Italian spot in Belltown, pasta steaming, wine flowing, stories swapped under exposed brick. Jordan was magnetic, toasting with a grace that belied the tremor in his hand. But as the night wound down, he slipped away to the restroom, emerging pale, excusing himself early with a headache. I drove us home in silence, his head against the window, the city lights streaking like tears. That night, he tossed fitfully, murmuring apologies in his sleep. Dawn broke gray, and I woke to find him at the kitchen table, staring at the engagement ring like it was a foreign object. "Alex," he started, voice cracking. "We need to talk." The words hung, heavy as the humidity before a storm. He spoke of doubts not in us, but in himself. The meds failing, the voices in his head growing louder. whispering that he was a burden, unworthy of the life we dreamed. "I love you too much to drag you down," he said, tears carving paths down his cheeks. Maybe we postpone." My chest caved, but I reached for his hands, grounding us both. "We're not postponing anything. We'll fight this together, new specialist. Support group. Whatever it takes." He nodded, reluctant. But the seed of fracture had taken root. The days leading to the wedding were a tightrope walk. I buried worry in checklists, while Jordan withdrew into sketches, his pad filling with abstract swirls of color that spoke of inner tempests. Friends rallied, Lena organizing a spa day, Tyler dragging us for a hike in Discovery Park where salt air and crashing waves washed away some tension. "Breathe, guys," he boomed, clapping our shoulders. "Love like yours. It's the real deal." July 14th dawned improbably bright, sun gilding the ferries chugging across the harbor. Rehearsal on the beach, toes in sand. Officianta, queer elder from our community, center guiding us through motions with gentle humor. Jordan's smile flickered genuine as we practiced vows. The sound a serene backdrop. Dinner followed at a seaside pavilion, laughter rising with the tide. Toasts spoke of journeys, from hidden hearts to open horizons. The human tapestry of persistence. As we drove home, windows down, wind whipping our hair, Jordan turned to me, eyes alight. "Tomorrow," he said, squeezing my thigh. "We make it official." Hope swelled, fragile but fierce. I believed, in that suspended instant, that we'd outrun the darkness. But midnight brought the deluge. I was at the hospital, called in for an emergency with a stranded whale calf. My expertise needed to coordinate the rescue. The or buzzed with urgency, vets shouting orders. The calves' labored breaths echoing through the tank. Hours stretched. By the time I texted Jordan a quick, "Love you. Be home soon," it was past 11. The rain started as I left, sheets of it blurring taillights on I-5. Our building loomed, a sentinel in the downpour, and I bounded up the stairs, key fumbling in the lock, envisioning his arms around me. The last night as fiancés. The door swung open to stillness, the lamp's glow mocking the emptiness. "Jordan." My voice cracked, shoes squeaking on the threshold. That's when I saw the mug in pieces, coffee pooling dark with something redder. The trail snaked toward the balcony door, ajar to the storm's roar. Blood. Not much, but enough to scream violence. My knees buckled, phone slipping from numb fingers as I crawled forward, the note catching my eye like a dagger. "I'm sorry, Alex. I can't keep pretending." The ink smeared. Rain or tears? I couldn't tell. Panic clawed up my throat. I dialed 911. Words tumbling in a frenzy, missing person. Blood. My fiancé. Sirens wailed distant as I searched. Closet empty of his jacket. Nightstand bare of his meds. The ring left on the dresser like a final goodbye. Detectives arrived at dawn. Their questions a blur. Had he been depressed? Threats. Our answers painted a picture of love under siege. Not malice. They canvassed neighbors, nothing but the storm's fury. Days bled into searches, flyers plastered on lampposts from Fremont to Ballard. Social media pleas amplified by our community. Have you seen Jordan Ellis? 27. Black. 5 feet 10 inches. Last seen in a navy pullover. Tips flooded in sightings at bus stops. Vague shadows in parks, but each led to dead ends. Echoes of absence. Grief hollowed me. A vessel adrift. Work became autopilot, smiling for tourists while my mind replayed the note's curve. Friends encircled. Lena flying back to cook meals I couldn't stomach. Tyler pounding pavement with me at dawn. My mom drove up from Portland. Her embrace a harbor. He loves you, baby. He'll come back. Nights were worst, curling into his side of the bed, inhaling faded cologne, whispering pleas to the ceiling. Flashbacks assaulted our first kiss. Rainier sunsets. The ring's gleam. Was the blood his? An accident in mania? A desperate bid for escape? Or something darker? A culmination of battles he fought alone. A week in. A lead. His phone pinged off towers near the waterfront. Then nothing. We scoured piers. The salty tang of despair thick in the air. I imagined him there. Waves lapping at pilings. Contemplating the depths. But no body. No closure, just the gnawing void. Then, the call came on a muggy August afternoon. As I sifted through his sketches for clues. Unknown number. A social worker's voice. Mr. Hayes. We found Jordan. He's at Harborview. Stable but. It's complicated. Relief crashed like a breaker. Followed by dread. I raced across town. Tires hydroplaning through puddles. Heart hammering. The lobby blurred sign-ins. Elevators dinging guntle. I burst into his room. There he was. Bandaged wrist stark against the sheet. For dripping steady. Eyes hollow but alive. Alex. He rasped. Reaching weakly. I collapsed at his bedside. Sobs racking me. Fingers intertwining with his. Words failed. We held. The beeps of monitors a counterpoint to our ragged breaths. He'd spiraled that night. The wedding's weight tipping him into abyss. Meds abandoned in terror of numbness. Mania birthing paranoia. Voices insisting he was poison. Undeserving. In a haze. He'd slashed shallow enough for drama. Not death, then fled to a shelter. Collapsing blocks away. I thought you'd be better without me. He whispered. Tears tracking. The note. I meant pretending I was okay. Rage flickered. Then dissolved into sorrow. Never. I vowed. Kissing his knuckles. We're broken together. That's the deal. Recovery stretched. A marathon of inpatient stays and outpatient circles. Jordan switched protocols, new psychiatrist. DBT groups where stories mirrored his own. I joined family sessions. Learning the lexicon of support, triggers, coping, radical acceptance. Our wedding. Postponed indefinitely. But the ring stayed on. Symbols of commitment beyond ceremonies. Fall turned to winter. Seattle's lights twinkling like resilient stars. We rebuilt brick by brick, walks in Volunteer Park. Leaves crunching underfoot. Hands linked unashamed. He resumed designing. Channeling turmoil into murals for youth centers, vibrant affirmations of survival. I pursued my master's part-time. Thesis on resilient ecosystems echoing our own. One December Eve. Snow dusting the evergreen rarity in our city, we stood on our balcony. Mugs of cocoa steaming. I'm scared, he admitted, leaning into me. That I'll slip again. I turned him, framing his face. Then we catch you. Every time. Our kiss was slow, seasoned by trials, deepening into promise. Spring heralded renewal, daffodils pushing through soil, mirroring our tentative steps. Jordan's art show at a local gallery drew crowds, canvases alive with queer narratives. Raw and redemptive. Standing beside him under spotlights. Pride swelling. I saw the man I'd always known, fierce. Flawed. Utterly irreplaceable. Summer brought us back to the beach. Not for vows, but renewal. Barefoot in surf. Waves nipping toes. We exchanged private oaths whispered against salt-kissed skin. Through storms and calms. I said, always. He echoed. Years folded forward. Time a gentle current. We adopted a rescue dog. A scruffy mutt named Echo, who bounded through our days with joyful abandon. Jordan's career bloomed commissions for national campaigns. His voice amplifying marginalized stories. Mine steadied in academia, lecturing on biodiversity's quiet revolutions. Challenges lingered, flare-ups met with practiced grace. Anniversaries shadowed by what-ifs. But each trial forged us stronger, love evolving from spark to steady flame. On our 10th, almost wedding anniversary, atop Hurricane Ridge, peaks piercing clouds, he knelt not with a ring, but a sketch, two figures intertwined against tempests, captioned our story. "You saved me, Alex," he said, voice thick, "by staying." I pulled him up, foreheads touching. We saved each other. In the hush of mountains, with eagles wheeling overhead, we stood as testaments to love's endurance, the humanity in vulnerability, the profound beauty of choosing, again and again, to hold on. Jordan hadn't disappeared that night. He'd merely paused. And in the pause, we'd both emerged anew whole, woven, unbreakable. The bloodstains faded from memory, the note tucked away like an old scar. Reminder of fragility's gift, deeper empathy, fiercer bonds. Our life, a tapestry of ordinary miracles, morning coffees shared, quiet evenings reading by lamplight, laughter echoing through rooms once silent. America, with its vast coasts and hidden heartaches, cradled us, from Tacoma's tentative beginnings to Seattle's steadfast embrace. And in every glance exchanged, every hand clasped against the world's indifferent rush, we affirmed the truth: love isn't absence of storm, but dancing through it, side by side. Jordan's smile, once eclipsed, now lit paths for others' youth seeking mirrors in his art, families learning grace in our story. I, once adrift in denial, anchored in purpose, teaching not just science, but survival's subtle arts. As twilight deepened that ridgetop moment, we descended hand in hand, the valley below a quilt of greens and golds. Tomorrow held unknowns, perhaps another wave, another whisper of doubt, but we'd face it as we always had, together, unyielding, alive with the quiet thunder of hearts aligned. In the end, it wasn't the disappearance that defined us, but the return, the choice to bridge the gap, to weave wounds into wisdom. And in that weaving, we found not just love, but legacy, a testament to the human spirit's boundless capacity for redemption, for rising, for loving without reservation. For in the vast American mosaic, stories like ours remind, every shadow cast makes the light that much more precious. The ferry horn blared as we boarded that crisp autumn morning, 2 years after the almost wedding, the Salish sea stretching like a silver promise before us. Jordan leaned against the railing, wind tousling his newly grown curls, let his hair lengthen during recovery, a small rebellion against the shaved-head severity of hospital days. At 29 now, his features had sharpened, etched with lines that spoke of battles won, his brown eyes holding a steadier gold. I watched him. 30. My own face leaner from stress-laced runs along the Burke-Gilman Trail, hazel gaze softened by time's gentle polish. We'd come to Bainbridge Island for a design retreat. Jordan was lead dingo workshop for queer artists navigating mental health and their craft. It was his brainchild, born from those raw sketches in the dim aftermath of his episode. "You nervous?" I asked, slipping an arm around his waist, the ferry's hum vibrating through us. He turned, that crooked smile flashing. Terrified. What if they see right through meth fraud who almost bailed on his own life? I squeezed. Grounding. Then they see the hero who came back fighting. That's the magic. Jay. The workshop unfolded in a converted barn overlooking the water. Easels and pallets scattered like invitations to vulnerability. Participants trickled in, a trans teen from Spokane sketching her transition timeline, a non-binary poet from Portland layering collages with pill bottles and wildflowers, a veteran like Tyler channeling PTSD into abstract storms. Jordan facilitated with quiet command, sharing not just techniques, but truth show mania fueled frenzied strokes. Depression muted colors to gray. Art isn't perfection, he said one afternoon, voice resonant in the sun-dappled space. It's the mess, the blood, the apologies, and choosing to keep painting. I sat in the back, jotting notes for my own project, a paper on ecological resilience, drawing parallels to human psyches. Watching him, pride swelled. This was redemption incarnate. His pain transmuted into beacon. Evenings, we'd walk the island's trails, Echo bounding ahead, her tail a metronome of joy. One dusk, as golden hour bathed the bays in amber, Jordan stopped, pulling a small journal from his pack. Been writing, he confessed. Pages filled with prose poems, elegies to the man he'd nearly lost, odes to the love that hauled him back. For us. For them. He read aloud, words weaving our odyssey from Tacoma's hesitant spark to Seattle's stormy nadir. The bridge of forgiveness arching toward dawn. Tears blurred the horizon. I pulled him close, our silhouettes merging against the fading light. Publish it, I urged. Let the world see. He hesitated, shadows flickering. What if it reopens wounds? For you. For me. Then we heal them again. Together. Back in the city. Momentum built. His manuscript, Storms We Sketch, landed with a small press specializing in queer voices Beacon books, helmed by an editor who'd weathered her own bipolar odyssey. Revisions flew, nights at our kitchen table, red pen dancing over pages, laughter punctuating debates over metaphors. Echoes snoozed at our feet, oblivious to the alchemy. Launch night at Elliott Bay Book Company, shelves groaning with tomes, air scented of ink and espresso. Friends filled the folding chairs, Lena beaming from the front row, Tyler's bulk a reassuring wall, my mom clutching a bouquet of daisies she'd picked en route from Portland. Jordan stood at the podium, spotlights warm on his face, voice steady as he read an excerpt, The Night of Blood and Note, rendered not in despair, but defiance, a pivot from abyss to ascent. Applause thundered, signings stretched late, hands shaken, hugs exchanged. A young man, barely 20, lingered last, eyes wide. Your story. It's mine. The pretending. The sorries. Thank you. Jordan's hand found mine under the table. Squeeze electric. In that exchange, legacy ignited not just survival, but solidarity. Winter wrapped us then. Holidays, a mosaic of traditions evolved. Christmas Eve at my mom's, turkey and tamales side by side. Her new partner, a gentle librarian with a penchant for queer lit, welcoming Jordan with stories of Stonewall. New Year's at Lena's virtual watch party. Fireworks bursting over Atlanta skies, syncing with Seattle's. Resolutions whispered, more travels. Deeper dives into advocacy. January brought snow rare. Magical blanketing the city in hush. We shoveled paths for Echo. Built forts in the yard. Hot toddies steaming windows. One blizzard-bound night. Power flickering. Jordan pulled me to the floor amid candles' glow. Remember our first winter? He murmured, tracing my jaw. Snowed in. Burning toast for breakfast. I chuckled, pulling him atop. Burned dreams too. But look at us now. Intimacy unfolded slow. Tender, no rush. Just rediscovery. Bodies known by heart. Scars mapped like constellations. Afterward, tangled in quilts. He confessed a dream, starting a foundation. Scholarships for LGBTQ youth with mental health hurdles. Your science brain. My creative spark, we could make it real. Excitement kindled. We brainstormed names, tide and tempest, evoking our coastal roots. Grants applied. Meetings with donors from the community center. Tyler signed on as advisor. His vet network's opening doors. Lena handled logistics from afar. Her corporate savvy a godsend. Spring surged with progress. First award announced. A $10,000 seed from a Pride fund. We celebrated at our favorite taqueria. Margs clinking. To waves we ride. Jordan toasted. But growth invited tempests. A donor balked, too risky. Mental health ties echoing old stigmas. Jordan's mood dipped. Sketches darkening. One evening, as rain lashed windows, he snapped a pencil. Frustration boiling. What if I'm still that guy? The one who leaves blood on the floor. I knelt before him. Hands on knees. You're the guy who turns it into ink. Fights for the kids who feel it now. Therapy doubled down. Group hikes with Echo steadied him. The donor relented. Swayed by Jordan's pitch raw. Riveting. Foundation took shape. Website live. Applications pouring. Summer hummed with launches. First retreat in the Olympics. Cabins nestled in ferns. Youth arrived tentative. Departed empowered journals filled. Bonds forged. Jordan mentored a shy artist. His guidance a mirror of our early days. Watching, I felt the circle complete. Pain paid forward as purpose. Our 10th anniversary true count from that Tacoma kissed on Alki Beach. Picnic spread, sandwiches. Berries. The sound lapping gentle. Vows renewed. Impromptu. I choose you. Storms and all. Rings exchanged anew. Etched deeper by time. As sun dipped. Painting waves crimson. Jordan sketched us quick lines capturing essence. Our forever sketch. He said. Fall deep in resolve. Tide and tempest expanded. Partnerships with clinics. School programs. Jordan keynote at a national conference in D.C. His words rippling. Queer joy isn't absence of pain, it's persistence through it. Back home, I defended my thesis resilience in kelp beds. Applauded for parallels to human tenacity. Tenure track beckoned. Life layered abundant. Yet, winter's chill brought echo. Jordan's annual check-in flagged elevated moods. Meds tweaked. Routines reinforced. One December dawn. As snow flurried. He woke me with coffee. Eyes clear. Grateful. He said simply. For this. We volunteered that day at a youth center. Painting murals colors bold. Messages fierce. You are enough. A teen's hug lingered. Your books saved me. In that embrace, the note's ghost dissolved fully. No more pretending. Only presence. Spring bloomed collaborations. My university partnering with the foundation. Joint seminars on eco-mental health. Jordan's second book, Brood Bridges We Build. Co-authored. Our voices entwined. Summer travels. Road trip down the coast. Echoes head out the window. Stops at redwoods and tide pools. One Oregon Eve. Camping under stars. Jordan whispered. That kid from Tacoma. He had no idea. I laced fingers. Lucky us. Years cascaded, 30s to 40s. Gray threading temples. Laughter lines etching joy. Echo grade 2. Her bark softer. But spirit undimmed. The foundation thrived chapters in 10 states. Lives touched manifold. A scare at 42, Jordan's episode. Milder but sharp hospital overnight. My vigil familiar. Discharge brought clarity, semi-retirement from travel. Focus local. Time for roots. He said. Planting a garden herbs thriving in pots. Metaphors manifest. My career peaked, full professor. Sabbaticals scripting books on ocean hearts. Lectures wove personal. Ecosystems teach us disruptions demand adaptation. Not abandonment. 50s dawned reflective. Silver anniversaries marked with quiet trips. Letters to future selves. Lena's visits filled with grandniece tales her kids. Our honorary. Mom's passing at 78. A life well lived. Her final words. proud of your brave hearts. Grief shared deepened us. Jordan's elegy in the next book. Cathartic Inc. 60s, body slower. Wisdom swifter. Echo's successor. Ripple. Bounded in puppy energy atonic. Foundation legacy secured. Board run. Our roles advisory. One autumn. At 65. We returned to Tacoma lecture at the old college. Students rapped. Jordan slides a lifetime arc. Q&A. How'd you know it was worth it? His gaze met mine across the room. Because love's the ultimate resilience. It bends, but never breaks if you let it. Post talk. Quad walk, maples ablaze. Echoes of first steps. Full circle. I said. He nodded. Arm linked. And still choosing. As decades wove to close. Hospital beds mirrored the past, but this time. Age's gentle fade. Not frenzy. Jordan first. At 78. Hand in mine. Whisper. No sorries. Only thanks. I followed months later. Our story etched in foundations. Books. Hearts changed. But in the vast now. As fairy horns call and canvases call. We live the truth. Disappearance was illusion. Love. Eternal return blood to bond. Note to narrative. In America's endless horizon. We stand. Sketched forever. Unapologetic. Unbroken. Echoes of that Bainbridge workshop lingered into the crisp edge of November. The island's salt air still clinging to our clothes as we ferried back to Seattle. The skyline emerging like a jagged promise. Jordan, ever the visionary, had captured something electric in those sessions, not just brushstrokes on canvas, but fractures mended in shared silence. One participant, a wiry artist named Kai with tattoos mapping his migration from rural Idaho, had stayed late that final day, his voice barely above the waves' crash. Your story, man, it makes the chaos feel navigable. Jordan had clapped his shoulder, eyes misting. Chaos is just the canvas. Paint over it. Back in our apartment, the high sustained us through gray weeks. I dove into grant proposals for Tide and Tempest. My marine biology lens framing mental health as an ecosystem interconnected, resilient when nurtured. Jordan, meanwhile, channeled the retreat into a series of prints, abstract seascapes where tempests birthed bioluminescent blooms, symbolizing queer rebirth. His studio, once a corner cluttered with half-finished dreams, now hummed with purpose easel lit by a single bulb, the air thick with turpentine and resolve. But purpose, we'd learned, was a tide ebbing as surely as it flowed. December crept in with its usual stealth. Holiday lights twinkling defiantly against early dusks. My mom arrived for a week. Her suitcase bulging with Tupperware of Oregon berry pies and dog-eared photo albums from my boyhood. She'd aged into a quiet force. Silver hair pinned back. Her diner's resilience now funneled into community potlucks back home. Over dinner lasagna bubbling. Echo begging scraps, she fixed Jordan with that maternal gaze. The one that saw through facades. You've got a light. Son. Don't let the wind snuff it. He chuckled, but his fork paused midair. The weight of her words landing soft yet sure. Later, washing dishes side by side, she pulled me aside. He's carrying more than he shows. Check in. Alex. Love's about the whispers too. Her counsel echoed as she departed. The airport drop-off a blur of hugs and promises. That night, snow flurried rare and insistent, blanketing the fire escape in white. Jordan and I bundled on the couch. It's a wonderful life flickering black and white. Its message of second chances hitting closer than intended. Halfway through, he muted the TV, turning to me with that vulnerable tilt to his head. What if the angel doesn't get his wings this time? I set down the remote, heart clenching at the echo of old fears. Then we make our own miracles. Remember the note. That was rock bottom. We're climbing now. He leaned in, forehead to mine, breath mingling warm. Climbing with you. Worth every slip. New Year's dawned clear. Resolutions scribbled on napkins over brunch, more island getaways. A joint art science exhibit. Daily gratitude walks with Echo. The Foundation's first gala loomed in February black tie affair at the Museum of Pop Culture. Proceeds funding youth residencies. Planning consumed us, Jordan designing invites with swirling kelp motifs. Me wrangling sponsors from aquarium boards. Tyler flew up. His presence at Anchor now a counselor for vets. His stories of battlefield bonds weaving seamlessly into our narrative. Gala night, velvet ropes. Champagne flutes clinking under Jimi Hendrix holograms. Jordan in a tailored navy suit. Silver cufflinks glinting like stars. Me in charcoal. Ty nodded with his help. Speeches flowed Lena via video. Her Atlanta drawl extolling, family forged in fire. Jordan took the mic last. Voice steady. This isn't about us. It's about the kids staring at blank pages, wondering if their story matters. Tonight, we say yes. Pledges poured. A teen recipient, voice quivering, shared her poem on stage lines of light-piercing fog. Backstage, Jordan sagged against me, adrenaline crashing. Did good. I kissed his temple. Did great. Spring unfurled with momentum, exhibit greenlit for summer. Currents of the Soul at the Fry Art Museum. Jordan's seascapes, paired with my interactive kelp models. QR codes linking to mental health resources. Media buzzed, local papers profiling our power couple's fusion of art and ecology. Interviews revealed layers. Jordan on mania as muse. Me on denial's undertow. But beneath acclaim, undercurrents stirred. A late May morning. Jordan woke listless. Sketches abandoned midline. Just tired. He muttered. But his eyes dodged mine. Therapy check-in confirmed. Seasonal dip. Light adjusted. We leaned into rituals yoga on the balcony. Dawn swims in Green Lake. Echoes enthusiastic splashes a chorus. Exhibit opening. Gallery alive with murmurs. Patrons tracing glowing kelp strands. A critic lingered at Jordan's central paisea, a vast canvas of storm-tossed figures emerging hand-linked. Raw, she noted. Autobiographical. He nodded, glancing my way. Every stroke. Reviews glowed. Sales funded a second retreat. Yet, post-opening, solitude hit. One rainy eve. As thunder grumbled, Jordan paced. Words tumbling, fame's a funny beast. Makes you feel seen, but exposes the cracks. I drew him to the table, hands cupping his. Cracks let the light in. Yours. They illuminate. Summer solstice brought respite, cabin rental in the San Juans. Ferry to Friday Harbor. Kayaks slicing glassy bays. Days blurred paddling Orcas wake. Evenings stargazing. Fire pit crackling stories. One night, Orcas breached nearby. Black and white arcs against moonlit waves. Like us, Jordan whispered, surfacing stronger. Back in Seattle, heat wave haze mirrored inner simmer. Foundation hit milestone, 100th youth supported. Celebration picnic in Gasworks Park, kites soaring. Grills smoking. Testimonials heartfelt. A former participant, now a counselor, hugged Jordan fierce. You gave me tools. Now I give them back. Fall's palette deepened resolve. Jordan's prints toured Portland. San Francisco. Echoes of our coasts. I guest lectured at conferences, weaving personal into pedagogy. Holidays approached. Laced with anticipation, Mom's annual visit. Now with her partner's kin. A expanding circle. Thanksgiving, table groaning. Echo underfoot. Toasts to gratitude for returns. For roots. As pie sliced, Jordan caught my eye. Silent vow passing, still here. Winter solstice gala redux, snow dusting streets. Venue aglow. Jordan's keynote soared. Audience wrapped. After. Dance floor called slow sway to jazz. Bodies familiar as breath. But January whispered warning. Routine check flagged instability. New trial met. Side effects nagging dizziness. Fog. Jordan pushed through. But I saw the toll. Cancelled sketches. Withdrawn silences. Valentine's. Intentional quietome cooked pasta. Letters read aloud. His, to the man who stayed me North Star. Mine, to the artist who paints my world vivid. February's chill deepened. Episode loomed subtle sleepless nights. Edged words. Crisis line on speed dial. But he wrote it out. Journaling tempests. Riding the wave down. He quipped. Before it drowns me. March thaw brought bloom, med stabilized. Energy returning. Exhibit extension announced. Book deal for expanded storms. We hiked Discovery Park. Cherry blossoms shedding pink confetti. Seasons. I said. Always turn. April showers nourished, garden plots tilled. Herbs sprouting. Echo's vet visit clean. Her wagging a metronome. May's retreat, Jordan leading. Me assisting science talks on adaptation. Youth bonded. Bonfires birthing confessions. One eve. Under Orion. A girl asked, "How do you forgive yourself?" Jordan paused. Firelight dancing. One dawn at a time. With help. June pride. Parade floats rainbowed. Our banner waving tide and tempest. Love rises. Marching arm in arm. Cheers a balm. July heat. Beach days. Frisbee with Tyler's visit. Anniversary stacked 30 from Tacoma. Love layered. August lull. Writing sabbatical. Jordan's manuscript swelling. I edited beside. Suggestions gentle. September equinox. Harvest festival volunteer. Pumpkins carved with queer icons. Laughter echoed. October's palette. Leaves aflame. Retreat planning. Jordan's energy peaked ideas cascading. November's edge. Workshop echo. Gratitude journaled. As Thanksgiving neared. Circle widen new friends. Old anchors. In this rhythm. We thrive not flawless. But faithful. The note's scar faded to story. Blood to bond. Love. We knew. Was no fairy tale. But fierce chronicle. Chosen. Cherished. Ceaseless. The San Juan spell lingered long after we packed the kayaks and waved goodbye to orcas slicing the strait like living ink. July's heat had baked the memory into our bones. A reminder that escapes weren't luxuries but lifelines pauses to recalibrate before the city's pulse resumed its relentless thrum. Jordan returned to his prints with renewed vigor. The bioluminescent series selling out at the gallery's pop-up in Pioneer Square, where hipsters and historians mingled under Edison bulbs. It's the light in the dark that sells. He joked to a collector. But his eyes held the truth, creation as catharsis. Each sale a step from the edge. I, meanwhile, plunged into the fall semester. My office at the university overlooking Elliott Bay. Stacks of papers on adaptive strategies in tidal zones mirroring the emotional cartography I'd mapped with Jordan. Lectures drew crowd students scribbling notes on symbiosis. One bold undergrad cornering me after class. Professor Hayes. Your kelp metaphor. It's like my coming out story. Tangled, but stronger woven. Her words landed like buoys, affirming the blend of personal and professional that define me now. September's equinox brought the Foundation's annual summit. A 2-day affair at a waterfront lodge in Gig Harbor. Delegates from across the Northwest converged, counselors, artists, youth reps. Their stories a chorus of survival. Jordan emceed the opening panel. His voice a steady current through discussions on intersectional queer BIPOC experiences. Trans resilience. The overlap of eco-anxiety and mental fog. I moderated a breakout on nature as therapy, citing studies on forest bathing's cortisol drop, weaving in our Rainier hikes as lived proof. Echo, our unofficial mascot, romped the grounds, her joy infectious. Closing night bonfire, flames leaping. Esmore sticky, songs strummed on acoustics. A elder from the local tribe shared Salish wisdom on balance storms as teachers, not tyrants. Jordan leaned into me. Marshmallow forgotten. This, he murmured, is what the note couldn't touch. October deepened with harvest hues. Our garden yielding basil and tomatoes for salsas shared with neighbors. Pride in the fall mint community cleanups plucking trash from beaches. Jordan sketching as I dove for plastics. Art meets action, he quipped, his caricature of me as eco-superhero pinned to the fridge. Halloween whimsy, we hosted a costume bash. Jordan as a bipolar phoenix wings of recycled paper. Flames hand-painted as a kraken. Tentacles trailing. Laughter pealed till midnight. Tyler's ghost story eliciting shrieks. November's chill ushered Thanksgiving prep. Mom's arrival a whirlwind of pie crusts and tales. This year, she brought her partner's daughter a 20-something barista grappling with her own queerness. Over turkey, conversations flowed gentle, Jordan's gentle probes. My mom's affirmations. Family's what you build, she said, squeezing the young woman's hand. Echo. Turkey stuffed. Snored under the table. December's solstice gala evolved grander, emo pop again. Theme currents of courage. Jordan's installation debuted an interactive wall where visitors added sticky notes of triumphs over trials. Mine complemented, a wave tank simulating resilience. Kelp dummies bending not breaking. Donors swelled ranks. A tech mogul pledging matching funds. Post-event. Rooftop after-party, stars pricking smog. Jordan's dance with me slow and sure. 31 years. He toasted softly. Still spinning. January's reset. New year. New protocols. Jordan's annual scan clear. But we layered in acupuncture needles, easing tension. Sessions ending in tea and debriefs. I started a mindfulness class. Breaths sinking with bay tides viewed from campus. February's frost bit. But love warmed. Valentine's hike to Snoqualmie Falls. Mist rising like spirits. Picnic under pines. Letters exchanged, his on vulnerability's valor. Mine on steady shores. March Madness. Cherry Festival volunteer. Petals carpeting paths. Foundation awarded first national grant. Ripples to East Coast chapters. April's renewal. Garden expanded. Compost turned. Jordan's book tour kicked Portland reading packed. Q&A intimate. How'd writing heal? A fan asked. By naming the unnamed. He replied, glancing stageward to me. May's Bloom, Youth Art Contest judged. Winner's Gallery show stirring tears. One Paisea mosaic of shattered glass reformed mirrored our arc. June Pride Crescendo, Float Design Collaborative. Rainbow kelp twisting with phoenix feathers. March swelled with allies. Chance a heartbeat. July heat wave, cabin redux. This time with Tyler and Lena's family. Kayaks. Campfires. Kids' giggles blending with waves. Jordan mentored Lena's nephew on sketches. Legacy lateral. August's lull, sabbatical writing. Bridges chapters fleshed. Edits over wine. Debates playful. September summit redux, growth evident. Sessions deeper. Jordan's keynote. Bridges aren't built alone, each plank a hand extended. October's fire, leaves ablaze. Retreat in Cascades cabins cozy. Hikes healing. Youth bonded. One confession around fire. I thought I was the note. Now, I'm the reply. November gratitude. Journal prompts shared nightly. Mom's visit overlapped harvest potluck. Tables groaning communal. December gala pinnacle, funds doubled. Expansion to Midwest. Jordan's wall overflowed notes I stayed. We rose. January thaw, protocols refined. Yoga deepened. February frost, fall's hike. Letters longer reflections on decades. March grant wave, international ties. Canada pilot. April book launch, storm sequel. Signings soulful. May contest, entries exponential. Themes triumphant. June pride, banner bigger. Allies amplified. July cabin, family fuller. Story stacked. August writing, manuscript complete. Submission thrill. September summit, global now. Voices vast. October retreat, cascades calling. Connections cemented. November journal, pages thick with thanks. December close, gala grand. Notes a testament. In this cycle, time's gift unfolded not linear triumph, but spiraling growth. Each season, a verse in our epic, from blood-stark stanza to harmony's hum. Jordan's hand in mine, always the measure love's quiet metric. Enduring. The rhythm of our days had settled into a cadence both familiar and ever-evolving. Like the reliable swell of Puget Sound against the piling's predictable, yet laced with the thrill of what crests next. By the time autumn's amber light filtered through our apartment's blinds in that 32nd year, Jordan's bridges we build had hit shelves. Its cover a delicate arch spanning turbulent waters. My co-author credit a quiet honor. Book club invites poured in from queer reading circles. Each discussion a portal to others' crossings. A librarian from Eugene sharing her late bloom at 40. A teacher from Boise on mending after loss. Jordan thrived in the spotlight. His readings poetic incantations that left audiences hushed, then erupting in nods of recognition. I balanced it with my spring research grant. A dive expedition off the San Juan Islands cataloging climate-stressed corals ironic. How ocean depths mirrored the internal ones we'd plumbed. Prep consumed weekends, gear checks in our living room. Echo nosing wetsuits curiously. Jordan tagged along for surface support. His sketchpad capturing divers' silhouettes against turquoise. Later digitized for the Foundation's educational modules. Science and Soul. He dubbed it. Framing prints for my office. Thanksgiving that year swelled unprecedented. Mom's traditional spread augmented by Lena's cross-country career partner. Two teens now navigating high school crushes with the same fierce openness she'd instilled. The table groaned under turkey. Collards. Cranberry relish. Conversations meandered from college apps to climate activism. Jordan's anecdotes bridging generations. Echo. Ever the diplomat. Shuttled between laps. Tail thumping approval. As pie steamed, Mom raised her glass to bridges old. New. Wobbly as hell. Laughter rippled. Jordan's hand finding mine under the cloth. A pulse of yes. December's solstice gala marked a milestone, tied in Tempest chapters in 15 states. Virtual arms extending to Hawaii's isolated youth. The MO Pop venue pulsed with innovation VR stations simulating therapeutic dives. Jordan's interactive wall evolved to digital touchscreens where messages cascaded like falling stars. My wave tank demo drew techies. Explanations of hydrodynamic resilience eliciting aha murmurs. Post-auction. Rooftop reception under twinkling strings. Jordan slow danced me to a cover of Sea of Love. His whisper hot against my ear, every year. Deeper in. January's post-holiday haze lifted with the dive trip, chartered boat bobbing in swells. Jordan on deck with binoculars. Me suiting up for descents. Underwater world unfolded corals bleaching yet clinging. Fish schools darting resilient. Surfacing. Salt stung and exhilarated. I'd recount finds over lunch. Jordan sketching furiously. One eve. Anchored in a cove. Bioluminescence danced on waves. We swam naked under stars. Bodies buoyant. Laughter echoing. This, he said, treading water, is the real therapy. February's return brought data crunching. Papers drafted amid campus snow. Jordan guest lectured in my class. His slides blending art therapy with ecological meta for students' eyes widening at the fusion. Valentines, not falls, but a staycation spa treatments. In-room dinners. Letters sealed with wax. His musings on time's alchemy, turning leaden doubts to golden certainties. March's greening spurred garden wars. Jordan's basil edging my heirloom tomatoes. Bets on yields over morning coffee. Foundation pilot in Vancouver launched. Cross-border collab with indigenous healers. We zoomed inaugurals. Jordan's charm transcending screens. April showers fed blooms. Book tour extension to L.A. Jordan reading at a WeHo bookstore. Palm trees swaying outside. I joined for the weekend. Hiking Runyon with him. City sprawl below, a reminder of Scales' personal peaks amid urban vastness. Maze contest crescendo. Entries from 40 states. Themes of reclamation. Judging panel diverse. Winners announced at a hybrid gala. Virtual cheers syncing with in-person applause. A teen sculpture. Shattered mirrors reformed into a heart. Stole breaths. Jordan presented. Voice thick. You remind us why we build. June Pride pulsed electric. Our float a kelp phoenix hybrid. LED lights pulsing. Marching. Sweat slicked. We locked eyes amid chants. 32 years. Still marching. July's heat. Cabin tradition with expansions. Tyler's clan. Lena's full house. Bonfires birthed karaoke. Kids belting show tunes. Jordan harmonizing off-key. Joy pure. August simmer. Bridges paperback deal. Audio book recorded. Jordan's voice. Warm rumble. Narrating our duet. September summit. Hybrid global. Sessions on AI and therapy. Youth panels fierce. Jordan's closing. Bridges evolve. Add planks. Reinforce. Cross together. October's blaze. Retreat in Olympics. Foliage fiery. Hikes to alpine lakes. Reflections literal and figurative. One youth share. Your book bridged my silence. November's hush. Journal rituals. Mom's visit with pie innovations. Pumpkin key lime fusion. December gala zenith. Funds tripled. International expansion. Wall messages trended. Tide notes. Viral ripples. January reset. Dive data published. Citations climbing. February frost. Letters layered. Reflections on silver hairs. March grants. Europe ties. UK pilot. April tour. NYC reading. Times Square buzz. May contest. Global now. Themes horizons. June pride. International streams. Unity amplified. July cabin. Multigenerational. Stories generational. August audio. Launch party. Voices layered. September summit. Visionary. Futures mapped. October retreat. Transformative. Bonds eternal. November gratitude. Collective. Circles widened. December close. Legacy lit. Lights enduring. Through it. Our private tide. Mornings merged. Evenings entwined. Echo aged gracefully. Gray muzzle nuzzling. Challenges came. Jordan's minor dip. Managed with grace. My sabbatical stress. Eased by his sketches. But anchors held. Therapy tandem. Walks whispered. In 33rd spring. A whisper. Adoption inquiry, not kids. But a cause. Fostering art for unhoused queer youth. Studio space donated. First resident. A trans kid from Tacoma. Echoes circling. Jordan mentored. I structured lessons in line and life. You're home. Jordan said one night. Watching the kid paint furiously. And so we were home, not place. But practice, building, bridging, being. Time's river carried us. But we steer doors of intention. Sails of love. The night of blood. Distant shore. Lighthouse now guiding others. Our story. No end. But endless current, flowing. Forever forward. As the 33rd year's leaves turned to flame along the waterfront trails. Our fostering venture took root in the converted garage studio. Its walls already splashed with the new residents' bold, abstract swirls of electric blue and crimson that screamed unspoken fury and fragile hope. Micah, the trans kid from Tacoma, was 17, all sharp angles and guarded glances. His binder peeking from backpack straps. Voice modulator app buzzing on his phone. He'd landed with us through the Foundation's network. A runaway statistic we'd vowed to upend. Jordan took to him like kin, sharing sketchpads over late-night hot cocoa. I offered structure. Marine tales of adaptation over breakfast kelp smoothies. Echo, sensing vulnerability, became his shadow. Her warmth thawing edges. Art's armor. Jordan told him one drizzly afternoon, demonstrating charcoal blends. Wounds in. Beauty out. Micah nodded. Lines emerging tentatively, self-portrait fracturing into phoenix flight. My role was quieter, homework huddles. Pride history lessons. The steady presence of a man who'd once hidden his own truths. Nights. As Micah crashed in the guest room, Jordan and I debriefed in bed. His head on my chest. He's us. 30 years back. Jordan murmured. Feisty. Scared shitless. I stroked his curls. Now threaded silver. And look at us still feisty. Thanksgiving amplified. Mom's spread now included Micah's vegan twistle-until loaf sculpted like a turkey. Lena's teens quizzed him on transition tips. Solidarity sparking. Toasts evolved to chosen currents. Laughter bridged gaps. Echoes tale of percussion. December's gala hit fever, tide and tempest global. Asia pilots greenlit. Jordan's touchscreen wall went viral, tide notes memes of resilience. My Coral Data TEDx talk streamed. Views spiking. Rooftop toast, Jordan's arm around me. Micah wide-eyed beside. Fancy. The kid quipped. Jordan ruffled his hair, earned. January's chill, Micah's first therapy session. Us waiting in lobby like sentinels. Post. He sketched a breakthrough chains dissolving to wings. Dive season prep. I trained him on snorkel basics. Pool sessions giggling chaos. February's frost, fostering formalized. Micah's choice to stay till 18. Valentine's letters included him Jordan's encouragement. Mine on tides turning. March's thaw, garden with Micah's plot peppers thriving. Book tour redux. Jordan bringing him to a signing. Fan interactions mentoring moments. April showers, Micah's art show debut. School gallery sold 3 pieces. Proceeds to foundation. Pride in spring, workshop for trans youth. Micah co-leading. May's contest, his entry shortlisted. Theme emergence. Judging day. Nerves collective. June pride, float with Micah's mural. Rainbow kelp trans pride fused. March electric. His chant loudest. July cabin, Micah included. Kayaks tandem. Bonfires confessional. Tyler's tales bonded boy to man. August's heat, Bridges film option documentary pitch. Our story screened. September summit, Micah panelist. Voice steady, Bridges saved Menno I build. October retreat, he assisted. Bonds with peers profound. November gratitude, Micah's journal entry read aloud. Tears collective. December gala, his donation from sales. Spotlight shared. January milestone, Micah's birthday. Legal name change witnessed by us. Rings glinting. February letters, trio now. Vulnerabilities voiced. March grants, Micah's input. Youthful sharp. April tour, family affair. Signings with sketches. May win, his piece took gold. Scholarship secured. June stream, global pride. Micah's face beamed worldwide. July gathering, cabin legacy. Story seeded. August option, doc filming started. Cameras capturing currents. September visionary, summit futures. Micah's vision bold. October transformative, retreat revelations. His growth mirrored. November collective, thanks deepened. December legacy, gala lit. Lights infinite. Midyear. Micah's path diverged college bound. Art scholarship east. Farewell dinner, tears. Toasts. His sketch Giftitas 3. Bridged eternal. You didn't fix me, he said, hugging fierce. You showed me I was never broken. Door closed. Quiet settled nest half empty. Hearts full. Jordan mourned soft. Sketches somber. I hiked alone. Waves whispering well done. Fall's quiet birth new. Mentoring circle expanded. Virtual fosters. Holiday cards from Micah flooded dorm life doodles. Winter's hush, us too. Routines reknit. Gala afterglow faded to fireside reads. Bridges passages revisited. Spring's renewal, doc premiered. Festivals acclaiming. Screenings stirred audience Q&As. Our arcs affirmed. Summer's swell, travel light. Islands revisited. Orcus greeted. Bioluminescence blessing. As 34th dawned. Micah's visit, taller. Surer. Portfolio bursting. Dinner tales tumbled. His pride our pride. In this weave. Fostering's lesson, love multiplies. Bridges branch. The night of blood. Seed long sprouted. Forest now shelter for many. Time's gift, not stasis. But expansion circles widening. Currents communal. Hand in hand. We flowed fostered. Forever. Micah's eastward departure left an echo in the apartment. His laughter's absence a hollow note amid the creak of floorboards and echo's softer snores. 34th summer found us recalibrating. The San Juan's calling once more for a solo retriatno kayaks this time. Just a rented A-frame on Orcas Island. Its deck cantilevered over cliffs where eagles wheeled and seals barked salutes. Jordan packed his full Kittiacells. Pigments. The worn journal from our Tacoma days while I loaded field guides and a laptop for grant revisions. Echo Road shotgun. Ears flapping in the ferry breeze. Her 14 years showing in the gray of her muzzle, but not in her spirit. The cabin became sanctuary. Mornings dawned with coffee on the porch. Mist veiling the strait. Jordan sketching the play of light on water while I journaled data dreams. Afternoons wandered trails to Mountain Lake, where we swam lazy laps. Bodies buoyant in cool depths. Evenings. Fire pit ablaze. We'd roast marshmallows and revisit bridges. Passages aloud evoking ghosts of gigs past. One night, as Perseides streaked, Jordan set down his stick. Eyes reflecting flames. Empty nest hits different now. Micah was. Our bridge to tomorrow. I nodded, arm around his shoulders. And we're the foundation he stands on. That's tomorrow too. Return to Seattle stirred autumn's palette. Leaves carpeting the university quad as I prepped for a symposium on oceanic empathy tying kelp networks to human connections. Jordan's illustrations punctuating slides. His doc, Currents Unseen, premiered at TIFF Proxy in Vancouver. Red carpet virtual, but buzz real reviews hailing, intimate portrait of queer endurance. Q&A streamed. Our faces pixelated, but voices raw. Jordan on the notes night as narrative pivot. Me on love's adaptive force. Thanksgiving sans Micah, video call insert. His dorm chaos backdrop pizza boxes. Posters pinned. Mom's table still groaned. Lena's crew in person now. Teens taller. Questions sharper on allyship. Toasts to absent branches, to roots that reach far. December's gala transcended. MOPOP's hall reimagined as interactive seascape. Projections of waves lapping walls. Jordan's wall. Now AR-enabled. Let users dive into messages via app global submissions flooding. My tank evolved to touchpool. Otters projected schooling. Fun sword. Africa pilot funded. Rooftop, confetti cannons. Jordan's kiss tasting of champagne and certainty. 34. He toasted. Deeper blue. January's reset. Doc Awards Buzz Emmy nod for editing. Screenings local. Jordan guest spotted on podcasts. Voice a beacon for isolated listeners. February's chill. Symposium success. Papers cited. Valentine's escape to Portland food carts. Our old haunts. Letters left at mom's grave. Whispers of thanks. March's greening, garden solo. Herb's Hardy. Micah's spring break visit, art critique sessions. His work edgier. Inspired. April's renewal, Doc wins short-form series. Celebration dinner intimate steak. Stories. Stargazing from balcony. May's contest, international. Micah judging remotely. His pick Assyrian refugees tapestry displacement to belonging. June Pride, hybrid global. Our keynote stream Jordan's Phoenix speech. My kelp weave. July's heat, island solo redux. Deeper dives literal. Emotional. Work is closer. Breath synced. August simmer, book 3 brainstorm horizons held. Futures focused. September summit, virtual physical hybrid. Micah keynoteriouth voice amplified. October retreat, Olympics with alums. Micah leading hike full circle. November gratitude, virtual circle. Mom's pie shipped. Laughs lag but loving. December pinnacle, gala funds record. Wall AR global hit. January acclaim, Doc sweeps regionals. Festival invites. February escape, Portland pilgrimage. Letters to legacies. March papers, symposium sequels. Jordan's art integrated. April win, series Emmy. Red carpet shared tuxes. Tears. May judging, Micah's influence. Themes legacy. June stream, Pride planetary. Unity unbound. July sanctuary, islands intimate. Seals serenading. August draft, horizons outlines. Co-vision vibrant. September hybrid, summit soaring. Voices vast. October alums, retreat revelations. Bonds bedrock. November circle, thanks timeless. December record, gala radiant. Futures funded. Mid-year pivot, echoes fade vet visits. Gentle decline. Last walk, waterfront. Her head on Jordan's knee. Sunset salute. Passing quiet. Blanket wrapped. Our vigil eternal. Burial under garden oak. Stone-etched echo, bridge to joy. Grief's wave-crested soft. New pup. Ripple. Arrived tentative calling mix. Energy easing ache. Micah's summer internship with us, gallery curation. His eye sharp. Fall's hush, Horizon's manuscript submitted. Acceptance swift. Winter's wrap, holidays hybrid. Ripple romping. Spring's stir, book launch virtual. Readings resonant. Summer's swell, islands with ripple. Orcus welcoming. In 35th dawn. Micah graduated cap tossed. Us cheering front row. Reception toast, his. To anchors who let you sail. We sailed to grief to grace. Lost to legacy. The Blood's Night. Faint ink on ancient page. Story now symphony, notes of return. Refrains of rise. Love's horizon. Ever held ours. Endless. Ripple's puppy bounds had softened the edges of Echo's absence by the time 35th autumn gilded the sound. His fluffy tail a perpetual metronome chasing fallen leaves in Discovery Park. The park's paths. Once trodden by 3. Now echoed with pups' yips and our steadied steps Jordan at 62. His gait unhurried. Silver curls windswept. Me at 63. Knees protesting but spirit spry. Hazel eyes scanning horizons as ever. Horizons held launched to acclaim. Its pages of forward gaze, speculative fictions of queer futures. Co-written vignettes blending my eco-projections with Jordan's visionary strokes. Tour was light virtual heavy. In-person pops and Coastal Gems fans older now. Some weed mentored, sharing how our words weathered their storms. Thanksgiving hybrid hummed, Miah home from grad school. Art MFA bound. His partnera soft-spoken sculptor joining the fray. Mom's legacy pie recipe passed to Lena's eldest. Kitchen chaos a chorus. Virtual toasts spanned coasts. Ripple under table pilfering turkey. Jordan's arm around Miah. Full table. Fuller hearts. December's gala crested epic. MOPOP's seascape immersive. VR dives partnering with my university users, exploring resilient reefs while absorbing mental health modules. Jordan's AR wall hit million interactions. Messages from Tokyo to Tulsa. Funds eclipsed prior. Antarctic research tie-in for climate queer intersections. Rooftop finale. Drone light show tracing bridges. Jordan's hand in mine. Ripple's leash looped on wrist. Horizons. He whispered. Ours to hold. January's buzz. Book awards shortlist Lambda literary nod. Readings wrapped. Ripple's training classes. Obedience with flair. Jordan's sketches of his antics calendar bound for foundation fundraisers. February's frost. Symposium keynote duist tag teaming adaptive narratives. Slides seamless. Valentine's cabin micro-orcus overnighter. Snow dusting decks. Letters laced with legacy looks. March's melt. Garden revived. Miah's partner helping plant perennials for permanence. Doc sequel greenlit. Currents continued. Filming Our Daily Tides. April's bloom. Awards win Lambda Gold. Ceremony streamed. Speeches synced. Jordan's on Art's arc. Mine on Science's story. May's contest. Horizons theme. Entries futuristic trans astronauts log. Non-binary ecologist journal. Winners global. Ceremony hybrid heartfelt. June pride. Planetary peak. Our float holographic phoenix scalp evolving live. March virtual. But energy electric. July's warmth. Islands with Miah's crew. Kayaks generational. Orcus oracle. August's ease. Sequel shoots cameras capturing garden talks. Walks whispered. September summit. Futurist focus. AI ethics and care. Miah moderating. October retreat. Alums and newbies. Ripple mascot. Revelations rippling. November thanks. Circle cosmic. Pies planetary. December immersive. Gala groundbreaking. VR viral. January shortlist. Doc sequel buzz. February cabin. Snow stories. Letters luminous. March perennials. Blooms bridging. April gold. Ceremony glow. May futuristic. Contest cosmos. June electric. Pride pulse. July generational. Kayaks kin. August captures. Shoots soulful. September ethics. Summit sharp. October mascot. Retreat magic. November cosmic. Thanks transcendent. December viral. Gala vanguard. Mid-decade marker. Health checks tandem Jordan's bipolar stable. My joints jointed. Travel eased. Trains over plains. Coast crawled slow. Miah's wedding summer next. Small affair in his campus quad. Us best men tandem. Vows echoed our storms named. Love's chosen. Dance floors sway. Jordan and I. Slow to indie folk. His breath. Their horizon. Our handoff. Fall's gift. Grandkid on way Miah's. Adoption path. News over cider. Ultrasounds shared. Names brainstormed. Winter's hush. Baby prep visits. Nursery sketches from Jordan. Spring stir. Arrive a little Kai. Name for that Bainbridge artist. Cries curious. First hold. Jordan's arms steady. Tears tracing. Cycle complete. Summer's joy. Kai's baptism by waves. Toes in surf. Ripple guardian gentle. As 36th crested. Grandparenting layered light. Weekends with Kai. Blocks built. Books read Storm's bedtime edition. Legacy layered, foundation endowed. Chairs named Hayes Ellis for resilience studies. Challenges crested soft, Jordan's dip minor. Managed meditative. My sabbatical. Writings winding down. In 65th shared. We revisited Tacoma lecture legacy. Quad kiss recreated under maples. Students circled, your story it's ours now. Hand in hand. Sunset sound ward, horizon held. Jordan said. Forever. I echoed. Time's final current gentle, hospital harmonies. Hands clasped. Jordan first. 78. Smile serene, painted full. Me months later. Kai's giggle echo. Micah's voice, we carry you.
Look, right there. That's the address. We have to hurry. Okay. Let's go.